Greetings, friends. Thanks for joining us for another installment of the 31 Days of Samhain. I believe we're on day 19. I should have double checked, but I'm pretty sure it's 19. And I wanted to talk just for a few minutes this morning about working with dark gods and goddesses. So when I say dark, I don't mean evil. I'm speaking more to those deities that deal more with like our shadow aspects. Shadow aspects being just that things that we don't necessarily bring to light. It can be, a lot of times it's the harder things we go through when we experience karma or loss or grief. Excuse me. A few examples of those would be like Hecate. This is a new book called Entering Hecate's Garden. This time of year, a lot of people work with Santa Muerte, which is sometimes also referred to as Our Lady of Death or Our Lady Death. And the Morrigan is another really good example of a dark goddess. So if you're working with those energetics before Samhain, and it's okay, it's completely okay to keep working with those during Samhain. However, if you've not yet established a relationship with a dark god or a dark goddess, please do not pick Samhain to start. You really want to have a relationship with that deity before you jump in, pardon me, before you jump into doing ritual with those shadow deities, especially around Samhain, because the veil is so thin. You know, as I'd said before, everybody decides they want to work on their shadow aspects, and then when shit goes sideways, they just don't understand how that happened. And it's like, well, you're essentially inviting yourself to resolve karma and to learn hard lessons, and that's not a bad thing. It really helps our soul's growth. However, it can be very challenging. It can be very messy. It can be very hard on your heart emotionally. So please just keep that in mind. The shadow aspects and the shadow gods and goddesses really teach us some of the biggest and most important lessons in our lives. So if you're ready to do that, then yes, of course, by all means do that. But just please be aware that shadow work is not an easy path. Now, there's a lot of gifts to be gotten from these deities. I have a friend that works specifically with the Morrigan during loss after a relationship, and she really got a lot out of that. And again, we have several customers that have started working with the Santa Muerte in the last few years. And probably the one that people have been working with the most, I would say, in the last couple years are Hecate. There's so many more books that are coming out on Hecate. I really appreciate this work by Cindy Brannan. She has an online school where they also do Hecate work. But this is the same author that did the book Keeping Her Keys, which is also a book on Hecate that's been like super, super popular. So again, I know this is a little shorter than what we usually do, but please, for all that is holy, don't go into shadow aspects and just start them at Samhain. It's just really not a good idea. If you've been working with a dark god or a goddess for a while, it is perfectly okay to dedicate at Samhain. You just don't want to begin a relationship at Samhain because it's kind of like jumping into the deep end of the pool. Okay, so guys, I know that was really short compared to some of our other 31 Days of Samhain, but just to give you guys some background on that. One other thing I wanted to mention is that you can definitely do what's called path workings with these gods and with any god and goddess to get to know them and start to establish a relationship. A path working is similar to a guided meditation, but except a path working sends you in a specific direction so then you can have that experience. So like a really good example is like if you're working with the Kabbalistic tree of life, you might meditate on a sphere or on a path, and you have a general idea of where you're going, but the experience that unfolds for you is entirely personal. So it's a great time to like begin that stuff. You just don't want to like dedicate and to like a dark god or a goddess without having any background before that. So again, thank you for joining us for the 31 Days of Samhain. I'm working on some more things for you guys, but I hadn't planned on talking about this, but I just felt it was important, so I wanted to go ahead and throw it in. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.